A very good evening to all of you. It's 6. So in the last class, I've said we'll try to start all our sessions on time. So let's make it a habit. We are not delayed for any of the sessions so that the people who are joining late today will be joining on time from tomorrow. Still, we are waiting for a few more people to join because few people are still left. I don't want anyone to miss anything out of the session. So from today, it is going to be a full-on practical session. What we did in the last class was just an intro that what we are going to do in all these classes. That was it all. But for today's class, I would need some efforts from you people as well. So as I have read in the feedback that I've received last time, people wanted to be more practical, more oriented towards your practical approach, how you are going to do and everything. So today I would be doing the registration thing. So I would be needing a mobile number, email ID, some PAN numbers. So I believe it will be coming from you people's side so that we can create a dummy thing on the portal. Obviously, we are not going to submit anything on the GST portal. It would be till the application stage because once we submit, then a lot of repercussions would follow. So no submissions are going to happen. And that is why I'll be taking the mobile number, email IDs from different persons so that none of you will have that thing that any single one can go ahead with the submission of the registration things. Good evening to everyone. So in the chat box, it's good evening that is coming to me, flowing in. And one more thing that I would like to ask from every one of you, like you must be now from today onwards, we would be like how we will be doing this entire seminar. It would be one PPT is there of which I'll be taking help. Then this white screen on which I am doing my own writing things. And then it would be our GST portal, which we will be visiting today. So obviously recordings will be given to you. You must have received for the last session. Similarly, the PPTs will be shared with you. I just wanted to know whether do you want these PPTs as well, this white screen thing, so that you can just see what I have written or not. Do you want this thing as well? So I can share this also. These are kind of notes only, nothing more than that. What I'm writing in the class, I can even share these with every one of you. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of yes. So as per the class, you have not received the recording for the last class. I've noted it down. I'll talk to Tax Guru people why it hasn't been done because it has gone from my side. I'll just check. I believe you must have received the link for the self-learning portal. Have you received that? Please check your mails because I have received that mail. Yes, some people are saying they have received the mail. So it's a request to all of you. Please check your mail IDs. That mail IDs contains your self-learning portal user ID and password details. So you need to log in on the portal, and once you log in, you will get a box saying that it's a GST compliance learning course. You need to go there, and over there the recordings are available. Sushma, I think you need to check it once again because people are responding that they have received the mails and the recording also. Nandini, there was no study material for the first class. That was just an intro session, nothing more than that. From today onwards, you would be receiving the study materials, the PPTs, and I'll be even sharing these, my rough notes. I'll share everything with you. Ketan, you will receive entire thing. Don't worry about that. Okay, so people who have not received the link, what I'll do, I'll have a word with Tax Guru and ask them to resend the mails to everyone so that if anyone is missed, they can get it, right? I'll ask them to resend. Shankar, don't you worry, I'll ask them. Please check your spam boxes as well. In addition to your inbox, please check spam as well. Might be, it must have came over there. Okay, so we are already at 6 hours and 6 minutes have gone already. So I'm going to start with today's session. I'm not waiting anymore. The people joining, the people who are late should join earlier. That's only my suggestion. Okay, so today our topic is GST registrations. We're going to start with GST registrations. Some basic knowledge I would like you people to tell me. Why do we need a GST registration? What exactly happens that we are under a compulsion that we need to go ahead with GST registrations? Nandini is saying to pay taxes. Okay. What else? People come out with their answers. Let me know that why do we need a GST registration? So Veena is saying that as per law, it's mandatory of turnover exceeds specified limit. Can somebody specify me that what is the limit beyond which you need to get a GST registration? Satyan is saying 20 lakhs. Shiva is saying 20. Sayali is saying 2.5 crore. Some are saying 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs. Okay. So multiple answers I'm getting. Let's go ahead with what exactly the law says. So GST registration, there are multiple categories for which the GST registration is required. Okay, I'll share my PPT as well. We'll go on that slide as well. So what happens is that there are many kind of GST registration. So GST registrations are of following types. First is your normal GST registration. Then there is voluntary GST registration. Then there is casual taxable person. Then there is NRI. Then there are embassies. Okay. Then there are composition dealers. And then the last category is other notified. Satyan, currently it's only my white screen which is available on which I'm writing. Is it visible now? Okay. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Okay. Now visible? Okay. Okay, that's my mistake. I've pressed on pause button. Okay. So it says GST registration is required to be given to such people. Normal person, we'll talk about the normal dominantly today. Then there is casual registration. Casual, I'm just giving you short briefs about these registration. Casual dealer is a person. Let's suppose I am running a business of, I'm selling handicrafts in Delhi. And now there is a exhibition being organized in Haryana. And I want to go and make the sale of my products in Haryana. So I am changing my state. I am moving from Delhi to Haryana. So I would be required to take a casual registration. It's a casual registration is the one which is provided for a period of 3 months only. After 3 months, it automatically gets closed, though we are required to file the returns for closure. If we want that casual registration to be beyond 3 months, we can apply for the extension. So normally, generally, who require casual registration is if I want to deal into my goods outside the state in which I have already got the registration. So I am from Delhi. My registration is in Delhi. But if I want to do my business for a short span of time outside Delhi, then I will take a casual registration. To understand it in a more better way, you need to understand that GST is state-wise. You get the registration state-wise. When I say state-wise, you must be seeing in the GST numbers, the first two digits are there which denotes the state. So for Delhi, it is 07. So whenever there are two numbers 07 in the beginning of any GST number, you can guess it out. It belongs to Delhi. So first two numbers of any GST number will denote the state. So side by side, what I can do at the same moment only, I'll share one file with you. Okay. So just bear with me a minute. So I'm sharing this file with you people. I believe, okay. From my side, it's sent to you. You can check it in your handouts sheet. Have you all people received? It's a list of state code list here also. Wait a minute. Ranjita, it's not by email, it's just by the system which you are working upon. This GoToWebinar only. So in this, I have given you the code list for the different states. What is exactly the code list? So you can check, you can see. So for Jharkhand, it's 20, it's code wise. It starts from the beginning. Jammu and Kashmir has a state code 1. When it is written 1, it is 01. Himachal 02, Punjab 03, and similarly for every state. So for Delhi, it is 7, 07. Veena, I've sent it on this GoToWebinar portal only. You need to see on that thing on the, wait a minute. This is handouts. In the handout section, there is a file. Okay, okay. Now you have also received. Now let's come back to my GST presentation. So when I say GST is provided state-wise, and if I'll go ahead with the further movement of this GST number, so if you will see, so let's suppose I'm writing my GST number only 07AA KFT 8644F1Z9. My writing is really bad. So now let's decode the GST number. What exactly is a GST number? First two digit. Parth, you need to check the Andhra Pradesh code. There is a new code which is given after the this division of Andhra Pradesh. One code is before the division, and then you will go down at the end of the sheet. It's mentioned the changed code. Okay. So initial two codes are state codes. What exactly is your state? You will get that thing कि आपका registration कौन सी state का है जो GST number आया है to which state it belongs. Then it is your PAN card number, depending whether you are individual, company, proprietorship, partnership, you can check it out what kind of organization it is. Then it is number of entities within a single state. No, it's not checksum, Bhagwant. Initially, it's not checksum. It's the number of entities. Let's suppose in Delhi, I have one registration. So it is number of entities. It is denoting that I have only one registration. But if I have two registration within the same state, so it would be mentioning two. Okay, Sunita, you need to write in the question box, not in the chat box. Then I'll be able to read whatever you are writing. So it's one. I have one registration in Delhi. Then this Z is a by default thing, which is given by the department. And 9 is your checksum. Some technical thing, to be very frank, which is given by the GST department, but these digits makes a sense to us. Now, when we are going through this, let's answer this question as well. Why do we need a registration more than one in a single state? What are the scenarios or circumstances when we will be needing more than one registration? Any idea? Okay, so let me explain why we would need multiple registration. So registration, generally, if I'll say one per state. So generally, as Veena, you have said, if we have branches, the law nowhere says that if you have branches, you need to have multiple registration for every branch. You can have a single registration and under that you can operate. For example, banks. Every bank has multiple branches within the same state, but the banks are operating under only one GST number for the entire state. They haven't taken multiple GST number. Okay, so it is one per state, but if your business is like you have different verticals, when I say different verticals, different kind of business, entirely different. You are maintaining separate books for them, and you want its GST to be totally bifurcated. There are many reasons the GST treatment is different for different kind of business. If it is a taxable transaction, if it is a zero rated transaction, if it is a, what should I say, a nil rated transaction. So the treatment under GST is different, and many people want to have a separate kind of working for everything. So if your business is entirely different, for example, I have two businesses. One business is into this selling of milk products and milk, and one business I deal into, let's suppose, textiles. So these are two different things which I'm working upon. So I would like to have two different registrations for both of them, so that the law which is applicable to milk business applies to that registration, and what applies to textile business applies to that. So nothing gets conflicted. So I can go ahead with two different registrations, right? So I'll have two registrations or more than that in case I have different verticals. So if we go back, what we were talking about the casual business registration. So if I have to do any casual business within the same state, I won't take a separate registration or a new registration. But just for a small business or a business for a period of 2 months or 3 months in a different state, I won't take a proper registration. I'll go ahead with the casual registration. Okay, so casual, you need to get a registration done. NRI, there is no limit in case of NRI. If a NRI has to do a business in India, which is a taxable business, he is required to get himself registered under GST irrespective of the turnover. There is no 20 lakhs, no 40 lakhs limit for him or her. Getting my point? Then there are embassies, or your you can say your these UNO kind of organizations. They don't have a turnover in India, but they take registrations to take the refunds. I think we have touched upon this topic in the last class also. So that is why they need to go ahead with the registration. Voluntary registration is something when I am saying I need a registration not because my turnover is beyond the taxable limit, but I want it because my business is such that I want to share my GST number with my customers. Practical example. Many companies are required to take voluntary registration if they have foreign customers. Foreign customers mandatorily require you to have a government identification number in addition to your SIN number. Similarly, any other kind of person, they would go ahead with the voluntary registration if their business is such which cannot survive without a GST number. Composition dealers, they are a separate category of people who want to take the registrations. In composition, it's not like that you are going to charge a full-fledged 18% or 28% of GST and going to take inputs. It's just you charge 1% of GST on your taxable limits and you don't get ITC. So we will discuss composition in detail, but I'm just giving you a glimpse. Composition is basically for small business people, and there is a limit up to 1.5 CR if your turnover is provided you are a supplier of goods. You can go ahead with composition dealer registration. But if your taxable turnover is above 1.5 CR, you cannot take a composition dealer registration. You have to take a normal registration, the limit set by the government. Now let's come back to my first question. When I said, when do we need a proper registration? Nandini, don't you worry, I'll be taking composition in depth. Don't you worry, today let's begin with the normal registration. Once you get that, you will be able to understand composition in a better manner. So I am talking about a normal or a regular registration. So some people told me a limit of 20 lakhs. Some told me 10 lakhs. And some told me 40 lakhs. All the three limits are correct. But the circumstances in which these three limits will apply, it's different and different. So we'll discuss that in detail. So what does 20 lakh says that if you are a supplier of goods or services, so and your taxable turnover is more than 20 lakhs, you are mandatorily required to get yourself registered in GST, except certain states which have been mentioned. Over there, the limit is, in these certain states, the limit is 10 lakhs, not 20 lakhs. So if in these states, you are having a turnover on supply of goods and services, above 10 lakhs, you are required to get registered. I believe these states are your northeastern states. Then there is Himachal also included in this category. Rest, I'll be sharing the PPT on in which this entire theoretical knowledge is written, that where do you need to have a 10 lakhs limit and where do you need to have a 20 lakhs limit. Now, this is something supplier of goods and services and both. However, an amendment came in 2020 which provided with a new limit of 40 lakhs. But just make one thing sure, 40 lakhs has additional condition to it. So this 20 lakhs condition will change into 40 lakhs provided you are a supplier of goods only. Correct, Bhagwant, you're very correct. You are a supplier of goods only. Secondly, you are doing only intrastate supply of goods. There is no interstate thing happening. When I say intrastate, what is intrastate? Come on, people, give me some answers. What is intrastate and what is interstate? Okay, correct. Satyan, Priyanka, Sunil, Veena, Parth, everyone. Arshad, you are writing city to city business. Exactly, I'm not able to get. What do you want to write? City to city? Shiva, no, intra is not domestic sales. Ranjita, Interstates between states. Intra, no Ravi. Intra is not out of states. Okay, so let's come to a conclusion what exactly this is. This is within the state. If I have to deal Rajasthan to Rajasthan, Delhi to Delhi, yeah, Pune to Mumbai, it's within the same state. Arshad, when we are saying Pune to Mumbai, it is Maharashtra to Maharashtra, so it is a intrastate. Okay, and when I say between two states, so it is inter. Okay, so between two states is inter and within states is intra. So when I say that 40 lakhs limit, it is applicable when it is only supply of goods and that is within the state, intrastate transactions. But if you are going to do interstate transactions, then come back to the 20 lakh limits. You can't do that. Also, when I say interstate, the basic category, when you come to that 20 lakhs thing, that is also available, that limit is available only when you have to do intrastate. If you have to do even a single rupee of transaction, so even this 20 lakhs, this limits apply if you have intrastate transactions. A single rupee of interstate transaction, you need to have a GST registration. But again, there was a notification and amendment was made for supplier of services. If they are doing interstate transaction and it is less than 20 lakhs, they don't need to get a registration. But if you are a supplier of goods and you are into a turnover of less than 20 lakhs and it is interstate, you're required to get a registration done. This 20 lakhs limit applies only when you are doing intrastate within the state. See, when and try to understand the logic. Once we say interstate, so now the governments, the state governments are different. They need to get their GST component in their kitty. So that is why they don't allow that if you are doing an interstate transaction, even for a single rupee, you need to have a GST registration mandatory, right? Okay. So let's do one thing. Let me show you my PPT as well so that you can have see what all we have done. And now we are going to move on our GST portal. I hope the PPT is visible to you now, everyone. I'm just moving it a little bit faster. It's going slow. So we are going to cover all these when I talk about the registration thing. These are all the topics. We have done decoding the GSTIN. There are certain important definitions that will be available with you when this PPT will be shared to you. You can go through it. Any doubt, any confusion, come back to me. Person liable to get registered, discussed. Type of registration I have discussed. Now procedure of registration, which we will be starting ASAP. Then amendment. Amendment means any changes in the registration that you have already done. Then there is cancellation if you need to get your registration cancelled. Penalty if you haven't gone for the registration, though you were required to get yourself registered. And last is revocation of cancellation. If my registration is cancelled, I want to cancel my cancellation, that is revocation of cancellation of registration. So you will be seeing all this. All this material will be available to you. Okay. So I'm just moving a little bit fast. So you can just have a glimpse, some knowledge about. Yes, Subhash. Now Subhash is asking that if we are doing interstate business, GST registration is mandatory even if the turnover is less than 20 lakhs. Yes, right. You are required to get a GST registration provided it is supplier of goods, not the supplier of services. Getting for supplier of services, now we have a notification and we don't need to get it. Okay, just give me a minute, class. Just a minute. Just 1 minute. Write the number there. Sorry, class. Extremely sorry for this disturbance. Okay. Um, so this is just theoretical knowledge for your thing so that you have everything in your kitty, whatever we are teaching. So Sushil, now Sushil is asking a question. Books are maintained compulsory for small business in GST. Now what exactly he wants to ask is that is it mandatory for us to maintain books if we are running a small business and we are registered under GST? Sushil, I would say it would be very mandatory for you to maintain at least the outward and inward things. If you are not required to get yourself audited or to maintain books of accounts as per direct taxes, but you are required to get yourself registered in GST, then it is mandatory to maintain your books. Otherwise, let's suppose sooner or later you get any question from the department, how you will answer that what was the basis on which you have paid your GST liability. So at least sales detail and the ITC details mandatorily required to be maintained. Okay, Sharad is asking that sometimes use Hindi for sure. Sharad, I'll include that. So if you will see this particular PPT page, what it is saying is that we have talked about 20 lakhs and 10 lakhs, right? Aggregate turnover exceeds 20 lakhs except the special states, that is JNK, and the special category states that I've told you, the special category states. So there is another question by Ravi. If my turnover is below 10 lakhs, and if the vendor required GSTN, then what should we do? Ravi, now this is a subjective question. You need to decide. First, you need to ask your vendor why he needs your GSTIN number. He can do a B2C billing to you, that is business to customer. If you don't have a registration, he would be required to discharge his liability. He will do that. Why it is necessary for him to have your GSTIN number? Ravi, if you don't have a GSTIN number, then you will fall in the category of customer. So he will raise a bill of B2C. If a B2B bill is required, then you are required to have a GSTIN. How can he raise a tax invoice B2B without you having a GSTIN? That's not possible. Okay. So whenever you are going to calculate your turnover, 20 lakhs or 10 lakhs, as we have discussed, that based on this turnover, I need to decide whether I need to get registered or not. How that aggregate turnover is calculated. So your aggregate turnover includes taxable value, that is your sales value, on which you are required to pay the taxes. Then there is exempt sales. Exempt sales is that one on which you are not required to pay the taxes. Subhashji, I'm taking your question. Just give me a minute. Let me complete this. So exempt sales is the one which is not required to be, on which it is not required to pay the GST. For example, the nil rated sales. Let's come out with an example. Magazines. Magazines are nil rated items. There is no GST on those. So it is a part of the exempt sales. 0% of GST is charged on that thing. Okay. Exports. Exports means anything which you are selling outside the domestic territory of India. I'm selling it to US, America, Canada, Australia, anywhere. So that is my export sales. Exports can be of goods, of services, or anything. Also, when I've said outside the domestic territory of India, it means even sales to SEZ. I believe you people know SEZ are not counted within the domestic territory of India for the taxation laws. So even that sales is included here. and then is your interstate supplies. So interstate sales which you're making. So that makes a total of your aggregate turnover. So to decide the limit of 20 lakhs, you need to get a conclusion. What is my aggregate turnover? So all these have to be added. But while adding, these are the things you need to exclude. That is value of inward supplies on reverse charge basis. To make it more clear, so there are many purchases which you are making on which you are required to pay taxes on reverse charge basis. Let's do one thing. Let's keep it this reverse charge thing at a hold over here, because this is something a very in-depth question. I'll cover it later on. Okay. Then all the taxes, the GST, whatever you are charging on your supplies, you cannot add it to get your value of aggregate turnover, and the value of a job worker. Okay. Value of a job worker, that is, let's suppose we sent an item of 1,000 rupees to a job worker to carry out certain job work on that, and he charges 5 rupees for that particular job. So that 1,000 rupees is not a part of the taxable turnover for that job worker. Okay, getting my point? So we need to exclude these three while calculating my aggregate turnover. We need to do that. Okay, so there was one question by Subhash K. What is a B2B and B2C sale? Ranjita, I'll repeat it. Just give me a minute. So exactly, this is the calculation of 20 lakhs turnover and 10 lakhs turnover. How you will calculate that? We came to this topic that why do we need a registration? The answer was when your turnover is above 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs, you need to get yourself registered under GST. So now how you will calculate that 20 lakhs or 10 lakhs limit? This is the formula. Your taxable value, the sales on which you are required to pay GST, exempt sales on which there is no GST for the time being, zero rated, or means nil rate of GST is there. Okay. Exports means sales made to outside the domestic territory, that can be taxable. But since it is an export, there is no tax on that. Interstate supplies, whatever you are making interstate supplies, these all are added. And what is reduced? Value of inward supplies on which you are liable to pay taxes on reverse charge. This I am saying I'm keeping on hold. We will discuss this. Then all the taxes, that is, if your sale is of 100 rupees and 18 is your taxes, then don't add 18 as this. Okay, it is not required to be added. You just need to add 100 rupees, not the 18 one. And then value of a job worker, that is, I explained you with an example. If I am sending something to the job worker, let it be by worth of 1,000 rupees. Job worker is going to do some work on it. Let's take a simple example. Like I have a piece of cloth worth rupees 1,000. I'm sending it to a job worker to do some embroidery on that. He will charge 5 rupees for that embroidery. So when a job worker is calculating his aggregate turnover, he will not add that 1,000 rupees. It's only the 5 rupees which is his income, part of his turnover. Okay. So that is how we calculate the aggregate turnover thing. Getting my point? See, so I've got a question from Sachin. Sachin is saying, is aggregate turnover includes branch transfer? To answer this, Sachin, let's come back to our PPT, this thing. So when we talk about GST registration, we are talking pan-India base. When I say pan-India base, whole India. I am not saying I am seeing GST registration state by state. I am calculating my turnover pan India base, that in entire India, whatever sales purchases I'm making, I'm seeing my turnover. If it exceeds 20 lakhs, I am required to get a registration done. And if registration is required to be done at one place, it is required to be done at every place in the India, every state where I am operating. So then you determine your turnover pan India base, and then you go ahead with registrations state-wise. This is happening state-wise. Then I won't see that whether my particular state is having 20 lakhs or not, 10 lakhs or not. If let's suppose I am operating in Delhi, then Maharashtra and Punjab. In Delhi, my sales is 20 lakhs. In Maharashtra is 50 lakhs. In Punjab, it's 5 lakhs. So I won't say, see, in Punjab, my sales is less than 20 lakhs. I don't need to get a registration. Sorry, it will not happen. Pan India, all the three states have same PAN number. All the three states have same PAN number. So I'm seeing the total sales. A total sales I'm making of 75 lakhs, which is beyond the limit of 20 lakhs. So I will get myself registered under GST. So I am seeing my turnover pan India basis. Pranavi, she is asking the same question. Pan India, I believe now it's clear to you. Pan India means PAN number is allocated for the entire country at once. It's not multiple PAN numbers for state-wise. So we are going to see the sales pan India base. Okay. So let's come back to this again. Okay. So these are few more knowledge for you, which says there are certain situations. These are some typical situations when you will go into the practical market, you are going to face it. So there, if a transfer of business takes place, transfer of business, what are the scenarios transfer will take place? So I have mentioned by succession or otherwise. Let's suppose I'm running a proprietorship and the proprietor dies. Now the business is taken over by his son by way of a partnership or another proprietorship. So now the son is taking over the old business. He won't say that I'll take the registration when my turnover will exceed 20 lakhs. No, it's the transfer of the older business to the new business. And when I say transfer, it means all assets, all liabilities, even the ITC, which is lined with the older registration, will transfer to the new registration. And that is why there is no exemption limit for such new person. They are liable to get registered mandatorily. We fill a ITC form for this particular thing whenever there is a transfer of business. We will study that in the going ahead classes. Similarly, there might be that amalgamation is happening, merger is happening with the approval of the High Court or the tribunal. Then also there is no exemption limit available. You need to get yourself registered, whatever may be the scenario. And these are also the other scenarios where you need to get a compulsory registration. Input service distributor. Let me give you a brief. What is an input service distributor? In short, I call it ISD registration. What is an ISD? Let's take an example of Airtel. Airtel का head office है, let's suppose मुंबई में, ठीक है? और इसके जो बाकी offices है, branches, lot of branches, they are in Delhi, Punjab, Haryana, Karnataka, every state we have the branches. अब जो मुंबई वाला ऑफिस है, मेजरली जो सर्विसेज है वो यहाँ रिसीव होती है. When I say majorly services like audit services, technical services, or licensing services, all these major services are received by the head office. So when the head office is receiving the services, billing is in the name of head office. But the head office does not have an outward liability. That is no sales. Because head office purpose is just to take all these services and to divide it to the other people. Now these are the branches. From here the sales happen. Like I am in Delhi, if I have a Airtel number, so my billing is being done by him. So he will raise the sales invoice. Now the tax liability is coming to these branches. So there is a loss to the Airtel company. What will happen? At the head office, a lot of ITC will get accumulated. And over here, there is only liability. Outward, there is no incoming. So there is a wastage of the ITC over here. And here it is a sheer loss of money, the cash amount, because we are paying on the sales liability. So what happens is that this head office takes a registration of IST, Input Service Distributor. So through this registration, what it can do is that it can transfer the ITC, which is lying with it, to the different branches. A form filling happens, through which I transfer the ITC to these branches, and accordingly they can take the ITC and their sales liability get reduced. Secondly, over here the accumulation does not happen. So it is a win-win situation for such kind of companies. So you need to decide, depending upon the practical scenario you would be facing for your clients, that do you need to have a IST registration or not. Okay. Then again, this I have already told to you, this person making interstate taxable supply. So even if it is a 0 rupee, you need to get a registration done. Casual taxable person, told you we need to get a registration. Then this happened, person registered under existing indirect tax laws. This happened when the GST came. So we were already registered under GST law. So we need to get a registration done. It was a transfer of the existing registration that happened in 2017. Then person liable to pay reverse charge mechanism. This I'll explain. I'm just holding it. Non-resident taxable person, I've told you, if he wants to do even a single rupee business in India, he needs to get a registration done. Then there is a person who is going to sell on behalf of other person as an agent. You are doing an agent service, you need to get a registration done. E-commerce operators like Amazon, Flipkart, mandatory to get them the registration done. Electronic commerce operator, same. Aggregators like Ola, Uber, they are the aggregator people. So they need to get a registration done without seeing the turnover. Then there is some specified classes. If notified by the government, they need to get a registration done. Okay. So this is theory. I'm going to share this all with you. You can read it. Okay, this is the 40 lakhs thing. Why the 40 lakh thing came, which was the notification 1st April 2019. It is even mentioned in the PPT. You can get it. There, it's a very long PPT, very long PPT. Around 120 pages are there in this PPT. So I am taking you quite fast on the PPT. It will be there. Okay. So this is where we start with the online demo, the GST registration in portal. Okay. So let's come back to my screen, and I am going to, what happened? So we are going on the GST portal. Please share one mobile number and one email ID, and it should be such mobile number and email ID which is easily accessible to you people, because we will be getting OTPs on that. So we are starting with an online registration. We are doing it practically, an actual registration we are going to go ahead with. So you will be seeing everything, just we are not going to submit the application. Okay. I hope this website is visible to you. So this is the area, taxpayers, normal TDS, TCS, register now. We need to click over here and we will go with the registration thing. So this is the first page that appears. It is a new registration that I'm going ahead with, which you need to fill, and you will be given with a TRN number. So the other option over here is temporary reference number. So if we are done with this page, a TRN will be there. So you will get the TRN. Let's suppose after some time you want to log in again with your TRN and your final registration is not available with you. So you will click here and write your TRN number, type the characters and proceed. Then you will go inside your application. So we are here for a new registration. Okay. So I suggest we will go ahead with the registration of a partnership firm, because in that you will get an idea about partners also, which will be same for a company or an LLP, because they have different directors and different promoters and everything. We won't take a proprietorship right here, because proprietorship a subordinate part of a partnership or a company. Okay. So I am writing. Its first question is what you are. You are a taxpayer, and these are the other conditions that we have already discussed who are required to get a registration. So we are a normal taxpayer. I'm going ahead with the normal taxpayer thing. It is asking which state. So let's take it Delhi. Okay. Let's make it through that. Share a partnership PAN number which is not registered under GST. And then we will take the state of that partnership PAN number only. Can anyone share any partnership PAN number? See, mine is already registered, so it won't work for me. And those who don't need a GST registration in a recent future, because it will be live on the GST portal for next 25 days or 20 days. It is going to be live. Nobody's sharing the partnership number. Then I need a proprietorship number. See, mine are all registered. Okay, coming. I'm getting this message. Still waiting. Okay, so Ranjita has given a number. Let's go ahead. Ranjita, which state? I'll write that state only then. Okay, so Ranjita is telling me Karnataka. Ranjita, which district? Bangalore. Okay, I'm taking this Bengaluru urban. Legal name of the business as mentioned in PAN. RDR and Associates. RDR Associates. I believe it's correct. I have typed. Permanent account number was ABCFR 2884G. Let's take all the information from Ranjita only. If in future you want to go ahead with, you can do it then. That would be your flexible area. You can do it. So Ranjita, an email address and a mobile number. Run. Please keep on checking, Ranjita, that I'm typing everything correct. Ranjita Dinesh @gmail.com. So one more thing, people, you need to make sure what happens with the GST portal is that the combination of mobile and email number, email ID, if it is already there and it is still pending with the GST department, the GST department won't give you a new registration on the same combination. You have to change the email ID or the mobile number. That's a very big issue with the GST department. 9325. Okay, so Ranjita, you are going to receive OTPs now for the email ID and the mobile number both. You need to share it with me. So I'm going to type this captcha and proceed. I believe this is clear. This is the form for the TRN number generation. So I'm typing proceed. Ranjita, please check. There is a OTP on your mobile and your email. Share that. Still waiting. So this is okay. For mobile, it is 419295. And the email is Yes, so 175005. So as soon as I click this, so this is, now what it says is that you have successfully submitted part A of the registration process. So your registration process is divided into two parts. Part A, this is a very small part which we have already done, and then there is part B, where you will fill your entire form and you will get yourself with registration done. This is your TRN number. Ranjita, I am also writing it on a paper. Generally, what I do is that I take a screenshot and keep it with me. This is a guidance that I'm giving to you so that the TRN number is always handy with you people. Ranjita, have you received a mail from the department for the TRN number that there is a request from your side to generate a GST number? I believe you must have received a mail. Yes. Now Ranjita has replied. She has received and you are seeing the message. You have to use this TRN and it has to be completed within 15 days. If you don't complete it within 15 days, it will just go off from the portal. So that is the time period available to you. So I'm clicking on proceed. Now it is again asking me, please type your TRN number and then we will go inside with the registration thing. So I am typing my TRN number. Two zero three seven three. Again, an OTP is there on your mobile or email. Ranjita, now the OTPs are same. Other people also be active on the question group. It should not happen that it is Ranjita's things going on, so all people are like lay back. So the OTP I have received. Okay. So now on the dashboard, you will see when you click on dashboard, your saved applications. This is form GST REG01. This is the first form that we are going to file, application for new registration. Expiry date is there available with you and the draft is there. It's in the draft status and now we are going to do the edit thing. Okay. So this is a entire registration form. It has tabs, different areas which we need to fill upon. Business details, promoter partners, signatory, representative, place of business, everything we are going to do step by step. So I'll take all the information from Ranjita only so that the correct information is going on. Now the next question is legal name and trade name. What is the difference in legal name and trade name? So there are two things. Trade name and legal name. Legal name is the one which is there on the PAN card. And trade name is the one through which you operate your business. You can see a very common example. Every time you go to the mall and you do shopping, you get an entire bill from the particular outlet, be it Lifestyle, be it Central. Let's take McDonald's also, KFC, anyone, you get a complete bill. If you will see on the top, the bill contains a different company name. So that is the legal name. Generally, all the brands are registered with the company name, that is their PAN name, legal name, but their trade name is something different through which they are known as a brand in the market. So whatever trade name you want to have, you can have through this GST registration. You can mention both on the portal. So let's suppose in case of Ranjita, her legal name and trade name both are same. There is no difference. So I'll write the same because generally, Ranjita, your firm is dealing into what? Is it a CA firm? Practicing. So it's a CA firm. So generally CA firms don't have a different trade name. We are writing legal name and trade name both the same. Then there comes what is the constitution of business. We have already discussed. We are taking an example of partnership. So all the options are available to you through which on which you want to get yourself registered. So we are taking the partnership. Then we have mentioned it in the part A of the form. We are in Karnataka. District is Bengaluru. Urban. We have mentioned aa gaya, automatically aa gaya. Then it is asking you a question. Are you applying for registration as a casual taxable person? We have talked about casual taxable person. Now Ranjita does not need a registration as a casual person. She needs a proper regular registration. If a registration is required as a casual taxable person, I'll keep it on. So then it will ask me a question, period for which the registration is required. I've already told you that this casual registration is meant for a period of 3 months. By default, it is for 3 months. If you want to get it increased, you need to again go ahead with the department that I want to extend my registration period for a further 3 months. Then only your registration will be valid for a period of 6 months. So you need to mention period. Second most important information, casual registration has to be applied a minimum of 5 days before starting your business at that temporary place. So let's suppose my exhibition is going to happen on 30th July. So I'll have the registration applied on or before 25th July. Basic requirement. And in case of a normal registration, that is my turnover is exceeding 20 lakhs. So the day my turnover exceeds 20 lakhs, that is I become liable to pay taxes as GST within 30 days. उसके बाद आपको 30 days का time और मिलता है registration को apply करने के लिए. Okay, so a normal registration you have to apply within 30 days. Casual is before starting the business. 5 days before starting the business. And once you go for the casual one, yes, Bhagwat Singh is saying for casual and NRI both on or before 5. Yes, for NRI it is also the same. So when you go ahead with the casual registration, you have to even mention this. What is your expected turnover? What would be your net tax liability? Because what happens in casual registration is that in casual registration, government takes the taxes from you in advance. So whenever the casual thing is happening, you are generally aware that we are going to do this much of business. On my experience basis, I know if I'm going for an exhibition, I'm going to make a sale of lakh rupees. So I'll say that I'm going to make a sale of lakh rupees, be it through IGST, CGST, SGST. I'm going to tell what is my taxability expected. Never declare a higher liability, go for a lesser one, because higher liability, then you have to go for refunds. Okay, so this is what is additionally required, and over here only it will ask you to generate a challan and make the payments at the same time. I'm going here back and saying that I don't need a casual registration. Then it asks for, do you want to go for a composition registration? This I'm not taking right now, just show you. It will ask you these questions that are you on this? You need a composition registration. Are you a manufacturer? There are certain manufacturers to whom composition registration is not applied. Suppliers making supplies, these particular suppliers are not required. And then any other supplier eligible for composition levy. आप इनमें से किसमें फॉल होते हो और जिसके लिए आप composition levy में जा रहे हो. I'm also saying no, I'm not a composition levy person. Then this is important. It is asking you, tell me the reason why do you need a registration. Now this is a registration we are doing for Ranjita. Okay, so it is asking question to Ranjita that why are you getting this registration. So first option is crossing the threshold. That is, my sale is above 20 lakhs, so I want to get myself registered under GST. Interstate liability, till now See, Ranjita is in practice. So she is a supplier of service. So for supplier of service, up to 20 lakhs interstate supply can happen, but not for supplier of goods. So it is giving me a question that if you are into interstate supply, then you need to get a registration done. I am liable to pay as a recipient of goods and services. That is the reverse charge mechanism. अगर हम इसको अभी यहीं की यहीं इस क्वेश्चन को उठाएं जो अभी तक हम छोड़ते आ रहे हैं, I'll show you this. This I've even made for you. अभी मैं आपके साथ शेयर भी कर देती हूँ. So ये है वो गुड्स और सर्विसेज जिन पे मैंडेटरली रिवर्स चार्ज लगता है. मैंडेटरली रिवर्स चार्ज के जो है आपके, if I'll say reverse charge, there are two sections which govern reverse charge, section 9.3 and section 9.4. 9.4 अभी postponed है, ये अभी चल नहीं रहा है, it's not working. 9.3 is mandatory reverse charge transactions. When I say reverse charge, इसका मतलब ये होता है, this is the vendor, this is me. He is supplying me some goods or services. If he is covered under reverse charge, mandatory reverse charge, then I have to get myself registered, because on his service of 100 rupees, I will be paying the GST, not him. It's a kind of reverse transaction of the normal transaction. Okay, so this is called reverse charge mechanism. And what are covered under 9.3, I'm going to share with you. So these are certain goods. Bhagwat Singh, there are certain goods on which reverse charge is there. These are the goods where we apply the reverse charge mechanism. Cashew nuts, BD, wrapper leaves, tobacco leaves, supplier of lotteries, silk yarn. Then there is supplier of services, GTA services, that is good transport agency services, advocate services, arbitral tribunal services. GTA और जो advocate services होती है normal होती है, मतलब आपके business में GTA अगर आपकी manufacturing companies client है तो GTA is a very common service. Advocate service, legal service, ये भी बहुत commonly आपको अपने clients में मिल जाएगा. So these are the common examples. इसके अलावा जो examples होते हैं वो rare होते हैं, depend upon the kind of business your client is running or you are running. So you can go through that reverse charge mechanism, which are the compulsory area under 9.3. Royalty payments है, जैसे यहाँ पे royalty payments लिखा हुआ है, जहाँ पे आपको mandatorily reverse charge लगाना है. So coming back to this sheet, I'm not liable to pay as a recipient of goods and services. Transfer or succession of business, we have already done. There is no exemption limit. You have to get it done. Then there is death of the proprietor. So I am the one now getting the registration. Demerger is happening. There is change in constitution of business. Now let me explain this also. What when I say change in constitution of business, what does it mean? So GST registration, when we have read, what is the major thing in the GST number? That is your PAN number. When PAN number changes, if there is a change in constitution of business. For an individual, the PAN number is different. For a partnership, it is different. For a company, it is different. For an LLP, is different. So when a proprietorship individual gets converted into a partnership, the PAN will change. So if the PAN will change, then you are required to get yourself registered as a new registration. There is nothing in law which says that I can go and amend the PAN number. कि जो पुराने वाला इंडिविजुअल का पैन का जो जीएसटी का रजिस्ट्रेशन था, मैं जाके वहां अपना पैन नंबर चेंज कर देता और वही वाला जीएसटी नंबर कंटिन्यू हो जाएगा. नो, this is not going to happen. So in GST registration, you can do a lot of amendments, but not the PAN number. So that is why when there is a change in constitution of business, you can't change the PAN number. So it will keep on giving me messages if I'm not doing anything on the portal that we are going to do that. Okay. Okay. So then there is demerger, change in constitution, merger amalgamation होता है तब आप e-commerce operator हो, आप e-commerce portal के through अपना सामान बेचते हो, मतलब जैसे हम Amazon से कुछ खरीदते हैं, you are registered on Amazon to sell the products to the customer. Voluntarily आपको registration करना है, आप ISD हो, आप एजेंट सर्विसेज दे रहे हो, सप्लाईज ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ अदर टैक्सेबल पर्सन, आप एसईजेड यूनिट हो, आप एसईजेड डेवलपर हो, others a common area, corporate debtor undergoing the corporate insolvency resolution process with IRP RP. This is the last thing. I'm not exactly aware इसमें exactly होता क्या है, but these are the major things which we get covered. So Ranjita, you need to tell me where should I go ahead with voluntary, that we are doing this voluntarily. Okay, so I'm writing voluntarily. So let me show you. So when it says voluntary basis, it is asking me what was the date of commencement of my business. So I need to write my business is this old. But when I say crossing the threshold, it will also ask me one more question. This is the date of commencement of my business, but this is the date on which my liability to register arises. That is the date on which I cross the turnover limit of 20 lakhs. I need to mention that also. So if I take the voluntary thing, I'm doing voluntarily. So Ranjita, what is the commencement of date of business for you? Still waiting for the response. Okay, so it's 29 October 2020. Then it is asking, do you have any existing registrations? What are the existing registrations? GSTIN. When you will write this, I'm telling you. Let's suppose now Ranjita's firm is already registered in Maharashtra. She is taking a second registration in Karnataka. So then she will tell that I already have a registration in Maharashtra. She will click on that and she will write the registration number and from when the registration she has taken. Then all these registration, if you have any of these, you need to mention it here. Okay, we mention it if you already have a GST registration. So Ranjita, do you have any registration prior to this? Okay, so I'm not selecting anything. I'm just keeping it blank. There is an add button available to you. If you want, if you have multiple registrations, you can add, and you can write whatever is that. Then it is asking me that you need to give a proof of constitution of business. So now Sayali is writing that if existing registration is cancelled, then it is mentioned. No, Sayali, a registration which is already cancelled, so it makes no sense. Currently, it does not have a standing. So we don't mention those registrations which are cancelled as on date. So since I was a partnership firm, so I'm going to give the proof of constitution of business as a partnership deed. If it would have been a company, it would have been the certificate of incorporation. If it would have been an LLP, then it would be the LLP deed. If it would have been a proprietor, then it would be taking my ID proofs, my PAN card or my Aadhaar card. So this is the proof of constitution of business. I'll mention partnership deed. I have to choose a file. Make sure it's a PDF or it's a JPG format only allowed, nothing more than that. And the size is a limit here. तो 1 MB से ज़्यादा की आपकी फाइल नहीं होनी चाहिए. ये सबसे मुश्किल पोर्शन है GST registrations का, कि आपका जो डेटा है वो उसी साइज में होना चाहिए. So you need to work upon a lot of softwares which are available online to get this thing done. Okay. Wait a minute, where I went. Okay. So once it is done, I'm not attaching anything because I don't have anything from Ranjita right now. So once you choose a file, you attach it. तो यहाँ एक ना box बन के आ जाता है that there is an attachment. Okay. Subhashi is asking, what if there are multiple previous registrations? Subhashi, you have an option to add. Once you click on add, see, I have not filled anything here. It is not allowing me to add. You click on add, there is next line gets open. Again, add, next line gets open. So you can add all the registration details here. So I'm doing save and continue. It is giving me an error that choose a document. So what I'll do is that, let me see if I have any PDF. Any PDF. This is a huge PDF. So this is the last class thing. Just give me a minute, people. I am searching something, a very small, any PDF document, which I can share it here. So when you want to search something, you don't get that. Otherwise, you have a lot of things. Okay. You need to have a small PDF. The problem is that okay. We got. Okay. So screen is visible. So I'm again going back to the portal. I'm choosing a file. So it is opening. So this is a PDF I have taken. It's a PDF. Oh, sorry. I've not selected partnership deed. First I need to select, then I'll go, and now it is attached. Okay. Getting it? So it is there. The document is uploaded. So once I go ahead, save and continue. So it is done. So there comes a blue box and a tick mark is there, which means that, okay, I have done with my registration. Ravi, your question is not clear to me. What you are trying to write, voluntary registration for NRI who deal with us or else? I'm sorry, I'm not able to get your question. Also, Sunita, you are asking a question, what can be the maximum registration? I'm sorry, Sunita, you are asking about the number of registrations that I can have? We can have multiple registrations, not an issue. There is no limit on the number of registrations that I can't have. Okay. Ravi Sahu is asking that what is voluntary registration? Ravi, voluntary registration, we are doing a voluntary registration right now. So this is Ranjita's firm and it has not crossed the turnover limit of 20 lakhs. But still she wants to have a GST number for for her firm. So that is why we are taking voluntarily. That is as per my wish. There is no requirement from the government to do this, but I have a wish. So that is why I am doing this. Okay. So that is a voluntary registration. Then we go ahead. It says, it talks about the promoters and the partners. Okay. So once we go there, people, you need to tell me one thing. It's 7:20. So do you want a break right now? It would be a 10 minutes break. If you want to go ahead with a break, we'll break it here for 10 minutes and then we'll continue. Okay. So everyone is saying yes, but let's be sharp back on time. So currently, as per my watch, it's I'm giving you a break. It is showing me a time of 7:22 and let's be back on 7:32. Okay, let's not be late for today. I want to finish up at least this registration, this entire 10 blocks today. I don't want to leave it for tomorrow morning. Okay, so break. I'm just pausing the screens and I'm muting myself. Okay, class, I'm back. I hope everyone is there. Back with the short break we had for 10 minutes. Okay. So from next class onwards, you can make sure that your family people or अगर आपको खुद बनाना है तो जो आपको इस 10 मिनट में tea, coffee, whatever you want to have, get it ready for you because I'll make sure this is a 10 minutes thing or a 15 minutes thing, whatever we are defining, and we stick to that. Okay? Okay. So now we are moving forward. The next information that it requires from me is of promoters or the partners, right? When I say promoters or the partners, for a partnership firm, it's all the promoters. For a company, it would be all the directors. For an LLP, it will be all the designated partners. For a proprietorship, it would be the proprietor himself. So we'll write all the information about them. Let's do it so that you can have an entirely idea. Ranjita, now you have to be very active and you need to keep on typing all the information ASAP for me. So first name, I am taking Ranjita. You don't have a middle name, so it would be Ranjita Dinesh. Father's name, K.R. Kamath. Okay, K.R. Kamath. Right. Then there is date of birth. It is 04/05/1970. Okay. Mobile number 907-289-3825. Email address Ranjita Dinesh@gmail.com. Then gender is female. Okay, this is not a mandatory field. When it is not star marked, I'm not going to type inside it. When it is asking me your designation, partner. Okay, you don't have a director identification number. It is asking you are a citizen of India. So we are saying yes, we are a citizen of India. I'm just going to tell you what happens. I have recently done this. So I got a partnership firm where two of the partners were not Indians. They were NRIs and they were not even having the PAN number. And it was mandatory for me to get the registration ASAP. Their business was getting hit by it. So as soon as I say I'm not a citizen of India, PAN number is not a mandatory information. Passport number becomes a mandatory information for me. And when I'm saying I'm a citizen of India, PAN is mandatory but not the passport number. Okay, getting the fact? So I'm writing the PAN number PD 715M. Then okay, Aadhaar number is still not mandatory, but I'll always say that यहाँ पे नहीं आ रहा है आपका अभी आधार नंबर. उसके बाद में आपसे आधार नंबर की ये KYC कराएगा. Will come on that. So this is your residential address 441 Prestige Casabella Prestige Casabella Road Pasapura Bangalore India. State is Karnataka. District is again Bangalore. Pin code is 560100. Okay, then you have to upload a picture of yours. Okay, which is a mandatory requirement. Ranjita, currently I don't have your picture, so I'm uploading my picture. So I'm going to go ahead. यहाँ सब लिखा होता है कौन सा format allowed है, कितना size allowed है. So please go through that information as well. So I'll choose a file and so I think my photo is on my desktop. This is my photo. So this is uploaded. The photo is uploaded. Then the next information it is asking me authorized signatory. Now, what exactly is your authorized signatory? So what happens is that, so the GST number, now you have taken a GST number. There are multiple partners or multiple directors in the organization, but the signing authority for the GST we will give to anyone. So if you are a proprietorship firm, you yourself are the authorized signatory. There is no such condition over there. But when we talk about a partnership firm or a company or an LLP, we will always tell them that, okay, this is the authorized signatory. Now there is a format for the authorized signatory. Authorized signatory, it has to be signed on a paper. The other two partners or other three directors of the company will give a consent that, okay, we agree to this particular person being nominated as the authorized signatory of the company. This is how it is given. So I am writing it in my notes that when I'm going to share the PPT with you, I'll share the authorized signatory format also with you. So you can easily make your authorized signatory things. I'll share the format for making the authorized signatory papers. So if I am saying, yes, I am an authorized signatory also, I have said yes. So going forward, I can say save and continue. But let's go back. Then it gives me an option add new. Obviously, when I am a partnership company, so we will go for the authorized, we will add more partners information also. So we will add one more. Then only we will complete the partnership thing. Now, Ajit is saying one thing that I think board resolution for authorized signatory for private limited company. Ajit is, you are correct. When we talk about a private limited company, nothing can happen without a board resolution. So their legal documents are on the board resolution only. But when it is a partnership, there is no board resolution. It's just a document on which we mention that we are assigning this person as my authorized signatory. It can be done. Like in this firm of which we are going ahead with the registration, we will write a proper letter which whose format I'll share with you. And even with the board resolution, you can use that format and make the board resolution. So I have done add new. Okay, Ranjita, you need to tell me the information about the other partner in your organization so that we can find this two partners information. Okay, so it is Dinesh Malan, father's name N R K Malan, date of birth 28 March 1967, mobile number any mobile number, Ranjita, it doesn't, it's not 9746756687. Email ID, Ranjita, is, I need an email ID as well. And this is one more piece of information to everyone. जैसे अभी यहाँ पे मैंने अपने documents लगा दिए हैं कुछ भी. Now if Ranjita wants to make the changes, आप उसी पे दोबारा जाके click करोगे, दोबारा upload करोगे तो आपका नया वाला document upload हो जाएगा और पुराना वाला delete हो जाएगा. So Ranjita, you need to make all those changes. Now designation is a partner. Board identification number, PAN number. You don't have his PAN number. So, okay, so I'm writing my PAN number, Ranjita. Please to change it, or I'll have address. You can give me your same address, what you have given me earlier. Can you please type it, Ranjita? It has gone above my chat box. 441, and it was some prestige Isabella Basapura, India. State is Karnataka. Bengaluru. Pin code was 560100. Okay, so it again requires a photo to be chosen. So I just clicked on, okay, I'm uploading my husband's photo. I don't have any other photo on my system. I have uploaded that. So he is not an authorized signatory over here. So I'm not marking it as on, though I have marked it on for your data. Okay. So I did save and continue. Now this blue box is also checked and I have came to the authorized signatory thing. Now, when I had filled the information for you, Ranjita, I have marked you as the authorized signatory. Okay, because of which now your entire information is available here by default. So I'm saying you are the primary authorized signatory. Your information is already there. I don't need to fill anything. I just update it. Now it is asking me proof of details of authorized signatory. The document which I was telling you, you need to upload a document which talks about the authorized signatory thing. I don't have that document. So it is letter of authorization or copy of board resolution. So I'll say letter of authorization and I'm uploading any PDF. So I'm just going on that. So this is one PDF I have uploaded. So it got uploaded. This is the letter of authorization and the photo. Okay. Save and continue. If you want to add more authorized signatory, now I've said you are the primary authorized signatory. You want to add one more, you can add it. Okay. Save and continue. So what Veena is asking to me is that, can we save this in draft mode and fill after some time? Is this facility available? Veena, this is draft mode only till the time I don't submit it. It is in the draft mode. You can make all the changes you want to make. It's the only limitation that once you fill part A and we have generated the TRN number, 15 days are available to you to make the final submission. Okay. So 15 days will be available to you. If I go back and make any changes, I can do. So details of any authorized representative. Generally, there is no authorized representative. What happens? Authorized representative person is the one. Let's suppose authorized signatory is the one who I'm giving the signing responsibility. Authorized representative for the GST purpose, if I have a designated GST head, right, who looks after all about the GST things, then he will become an authorized representative. If I want to furnish his information, I can furnish it here. So Ranjita is asking that if not submitted, it is okay. Yes, Ranjita, it is okay. After 15 days, it will automatically get disabled and it will get disabled and it will make no sense then. It will be there. So now Veena is asking me a question that, can we take RCM registration on casual basis? Now, what do you mean by RCM registration on casual basis? It's a mandatory registration. If your liability is there to make a payment under reverse charge mechanism, okay, if there is a liability, then you have to take a normal registration. You can't take a casual registration. Casual dealers are those only who are required to do their business, a particular form of their business for a short span of time somewhere else. If you are into a normal business, your business is a running business, how can you say that RCM liability will arise only for 1 or 2 months? What kind of transactions? So Veena, I would actually prefer that if you would write the entire facts of the case on the learning portal and you can write that question to me on the learning portal, I'll answer that. Okay, I'll answer that over there, write it over there. So then after this, I'll say save and continue. Now it goes to the principal place of business. This I need to tell you in a great detail. So this is one question which is in accordance with what we are going through. Sunita is asking that can anyone apart from partners can be authorized signatory? Yes, why not? Let's talk about a big company, Reliance. Will Ambani's become the authorized signatory? No, they will never become the authorized signatories. There would be some other persons who will be getting the authorized signatory other than the partners or directors of the company. Now, Nandini is asking, casual registration is required for intrastate also. Nandini, this question will be answered in the next topic only, which we are doing, the place of business, the kind of place of business. Just maintain that patience and we'll do that. So we are talking about principal place. That is a registered office address. Principal place is my registered office address. अब मैं दिल्ली का ही एग्जांपल लेती हूँ, I can easily relate to that. If my registered office address is in Delhi, let's suppose I say in East Delhi, my registered office address is there. I am not a service provider right now, I am a seller of goods. अब मुझे जाके साउथ दिल्ली में भी सेल करना है, ओके? तो जब मुझे ईस्ट दिल्ली से साउथ दिल्ली में जाके सेल करना है, that doesn't mean that I'm going to get a casual registration done for this. So the question which was asked to me right now, that can we have a casual registration for intrastate? No, I won't get that done. Instead, what I'll do, I'll add it in my additional place of business. तो अभी हम इस registration के form में जब आगे जाएंगे, so in addition to the principal place of business, we will add the additional place of business. So this is a mandatory requirement in GST. From wherever you are going to make your sales, it has to be registered. That address should appear in your GSTIN certificate. I cannot say that I'm going to make a sale from East Delhi and then suddenly something happens from South Delhi. Having the invoice details as East Delhi, it's wrong. If it is goods and e-way bills are made, invoices are made, the place of origin is wrong, you will be caught under a penalty under the law. Okay. So this is the no casual registration required if I'm moving within the same state. But let's suppose I am required to render a service or a sale of goods out of a blue moon in Haryana. Now the state code will change. It will change from 07. I think for Haryana it is 06. I get confused. It's 06 or 09. So I have to change my state code. So I'll go for a casual registration in Haryana if my service is only for a period of 3 months, not for more than that. But if it's a regular service I'm going to conduct from there, I'll take a normal registration in Haryana. Okay. Now Sagar is asking that how can we decide which one is our principal place? That is your registered office address, Sagar dear, your partnership firm, your company, your LLP, everyone have a registered office address. So that is your principal place of business. But if we'll talk about a proprietorship, so any place where you are keeping your books of accounts, if your admin thing is maintained, you can take it as a principal place of business. There is no such bifurcation in case of what should I say, this principal place of business. Okay, just one minute, there are few questions that I have skipped right now, just let me take. So Ramachandran ji is asking, can a representative be added after getting GST registration completed? Yes, that is amendment, we will be doing that as well, Ramachandran ji, don't worry about this. Then wait a minute. Pranavi is asking, in case if a person is running a very small business and he does not own a place of business or does not have a rented place of business, then what would be the principal place of business? Pranavi, I'm coming to that. The next answer is that only. Okay. Sunita ji is asking, can a proprietor run her business from home address? Yes, of course, you can run your business from your home. So what document you will need to attach? I'm just going to let you know. So Nandini ji is asking, if my sale in other state will be just for 1 month, should I register in casual registration? Yes, of course. Nandini, that is the only meaning of the casual registration, that if my business is not regular in that particular state, I won't take a normal registration. Rather, I would be taking your this casual registration. Okay, let's come back to our portal. We were here. So we were talking about the principal place of business. Ranjita, again, your help needed. I need the address where you are running your business, and then you need to tell me it's a rented property or a self-occupied, self-owned property. What is it? Okay. So now Ranjita is saying that currently it is work from home only. Is it okay? Any place you are running your business from and what your partnership deed talks about. You have a partnership, there is a deed, you have mentioned a registered office address over there in your partnership deed. So currently I need that address. It can be your home address, it can be a commercial property address, whatever. So Ranjita, share your address which is mentioned in your partnership deed. So again, it's your same home address. I'm mentioning it again. Prestige Isabella. Bangalore. The district is again Bengaluru. The pin code was 560100. Okay. Then there it asks about latitude, longitude, not a mandatory thing. If you want to actually write latitude, longitude again, then you need to go to the Google Maps. So whenever you search any exact area in the Google Maps and you click there, it will show you the latitude and the longitude. From there, you can pick it up and write it here, but it's not a mandatory field, so you can skip. The next question it asks is that, what is the jurisdiction you want to go ahead with? So for Bengaluru, it is giving me only one ward, which is available, out of which I need to make a choice. So for other units, there are multiple wards. Like for Delhi, I can help you. I have even given the link in the PPT. It's the same. All the screenshots are there. Whatever we are currently going in this class, all the screenshots are available. Nothing will be missed. So in this particular area, I've given you the link, how you will determine your know your jurisdiction information. Okay, this is the website cbic-gst.gov.in. Know your jurisdiction. You will type, you will get the range. Then on the Delhi VAT website, you will get the ward information. So this is for Delhi I have given to you. So Ramachandranji is asking, if a person has two different supplies within a state, in which one has turnover of 20 lakhs and other has less than 10 lakhs, still two registration required. Ramachandran ji, we have taken this question earlier, that how to determine the taxable supply. It is PAN based. So I'm not bothered you are talking about state wise, person wise, or you are talking about item wise or business wise. It's PAN based. If it is a proprietorship firm, then I'll take the total turnover. Okay. So then you have to select the commissionerate. There is only few options that are coming in Bengaluru, so I don't have to make a choice. Whatever is available, I have to choose. So Ranjita, I'm taking over here the strange BSD8, which has to be made sure from the CBIC portal. You can't write anything, but still, what happens is that when you mention any range or portal and you go ahead with the registration, when you get your final registration back from the department, and we have studied in the last class, search your GSTIN. Over there, your correct ward and range will get reflected. So even if you did a mistake while mentioning your ward and range over here, it would be rectified when your final GST certificate will be available to you. So by default, it is taking the email address and the mobile number that we have mentioned for the authorized signatory, okay, for the principal place of business. Now comes the question of nature of possession. This was something which was currently asked by, I think, Nandini. You have asked that question. What if my property is self-owned? How it will happen? It is home. It is not a rented one. What we'll do? So, address. Major classification is either it can be rented or it can be owned. The self-owned. Now, self-owned, if it is by a partner, in this case, it is, let's suppose Ranjita is the owner of the property. Now, Ranjita is the partner of the firm, not the firm. So, the ownership is in the name of the partner. We are doing the registration of the partnership firm, not Ranjita. So, for partnership firm, it is taken on let out basis by the partner, but without any consideration. So, no rent is flowing from the firm to her. रेंट नहीं जा रहा है. जब रेंट नहीं जाता है तो हम क्या देते हैं? NOC. That is your no objection certificate. So what exactly this no objection certificate contains? We are taking an assumption that Ranjita is giving a no objection certificate to the partnership firm. She will say that I am the registered owner of this property and I have no objection in this firm utilizing this address for the purpose of running of business. So this is the no objection certificate. Okay. So do you want people to share this no objection certificate format also with you? If you want, I can share. Okay. So when I'll be sharing the PPTs and all the drafts with you, so I'll share this also with you people. There is one change in the no objection certificate, which I have seen practically in my experience. 6 months back, I was taking all the no objection certificates on a plain paper, just a blank paper. I used to write the data and get it signed by the person. But now the GST department has rejected that. GST department is saying that this NOC should be on a stamp paper. And along with the NOC, it should be accompanied with the ID proof of the owner. They need the ID proof of the owner as well. Okay, these are the new changes in the NOC thing. And when I talk about the rented property, what is the proof? It is the rent agreement. So you have to share the signed rent agreement with that. So Nilji, you're talking about the stamp paper value. The stamp duty varies from state to state. So if I'll do in Delhi, I do it in 100 rupees stamp paper. Okay, you have to check your state stamp duty rates to determine what is the value of stamp paper you need to take. In addition to these two documents, now you have to give a proof that this particular person, in my case Ranjita, is the owner of this property. Proof of ownership. Now this is required to be given, and how we can give this? In the form of the utility bill. Make sure these utility bills are latest. When I say latest, not older than 3 months. Okay, so it should not be older than 3 months. And what are all my utility bills? Electricity bill, water bill, or municipal tax receipts. I can give them as my things. So Sunita ji is saying that if rent agreement, do landlord have to mention any specific clause? See Sunita, as per law, it's only the professional activities which you are allowed to do from a residential address. Otherwise, all other activities have to be done. The commercial activities are required to be done from commercial property only. The landlords will obviously raise a question if you are doing any other thing other than the professional activity from a residential area. It has many repercussions. let's suppose you get your GST number on that residential address. You have to display the GST number at the gate of the property, and then your electricity bill, municipal taxes bill, everything changes as per the commercial property rates. So obviously landlord is going to raise a question. He will not allow you to do so. Raviji is asking that can we change the address if shifted my business? Obviously, Raviji, we will do that in the amendment classes, how the amendment happens. Sunil ji is asking society maintenance bills. Uh, Society maintenance bills are not these ownership proofs. Ownership proofs have been predefined by the GST portal and you have to do this only. Okay, so let's come back to my portal. So nature of possession of premises, it is asking, is it consent? That is, we are saying that we have taken the no objection certificate. That is the consent we have taken from the owner of the property. Leased, हमने lease पे लिया है. Own, अगर पार्टनरशिप फर्म के नाम पे ही कोई प्रॉपर्टी है तो हम ओन लिखेंगे. रेंटेड है तो रेंटेड लिखेंगे. Shared, we are sharing it with someone else also, like multiple people are operating in the same property, and others. A general category is given over here. So in the case of Ranjita ji, it is consent. So Nandini ji is saying if the property is in my father's name or husband name, but they were not in partnership, what shall we do? Nandini ji, it's the same case. The property is in name of the partner or a relative or an owned person, and they don't want to charge any rent. That is without consideration. You will be using it. So you will take a no consent, there's no objection certificate from the said party. Similar scenario you have to do. Okay. Then Pranavi is saying that in case of shared property, we have to display the GSTIN. Yes. If you have a GSTIN, the GSTIN has to be displayed on the gate. It's a mandatory requirement. Like in case of company, display of SIN number is mandatory. Similarly is case with the GST. Now it is saying, give me the proof of principal place, consent letter, electricity bill, legal ownership document, municipal khata copy, property tax receipt. It is giving me these options. So I can go ahead with the consent letter if I am saying it is rented, then it is asking me, you can give me any of these documents, we can give that. So if I'm taking consent and I'm saying I have a consent letter, again, I am attaching any file in this particular section. Okay. Now there is an issue. It is a 100 KB document and my document, I think, exceeds, it's 369 KB. So I have to search for something which is within the limit of 100 KB. Okay, people, just give me a minute. I'm going to search a document which is less than that. Okay, got that. So coming back to this, so I'm going to choose a photo only which is less than 100 KB. It is taking me to a different page. Wait a minute. We will attach, let's wait for that. So there is a question from Sagar. If any difference found in name, which was mentioned on utility bill, is chance of query raised by GST department? Yes. So this happens very in the recent future. I think 15 days back, this has happened with me. I did a registration for one of my client. But now what the client has done, it has not got the electricity meter bill name changed in the records. So electricity bill was still in the name of the previous owner. So department rejected my application saying that the utility bill is not in the name of the owner. Share any other document. There was a clarification which department called from me. Share any other document which has the owner name on the utility bills. Okay. So then next question it asked me is that what activity you are carrying out from this particular premise. Okay, so there are many things that I can do. If it is a registered office address for Ranjita, so she might be supplier of service. CA firm, it is obviously supplier of service. It can be her admin office. There is no option for admin. It can be office or sales office. Like if it is a manufacturing unit, I'll mention it is a factory. If it is there, go down. It is a bonded warehouse or a normal warehouse. EOU है, STP है. मैं यहाँ से होलसेल का बिजनेस करती हूँ या मैं रेसिपिएंट हूँ गुड्स ऑफ सर्विस जहाँ मुझे रिवर्स टैक्स में टैक्स देना है. So all the options are given and you have to mention. Okay. So now Sushma is asking me another question, that in case of shared property, if another person is also holding GST number, so Sushma, you need to mention both the GST numbers on the gate. And it is a very common thing that happens is that on a single address, multiple registrations are there. So it can happen and you need to mention all the GST numbers. Just wait a minute, let me save it. Why the portal is giving me again and again that is not doing save and continue. If I attach, let's take a risk. The portal is saying me that you need to, I don't know. Oh, so login was denied. It was long. We were on the hold, so we have to log in again. Okay, wait. So now we'll log in with our temporary number. Ranjita, be ready with the OTP. The OTP will flow to you. 292.100.13.9092 TRL. The characters are 504.836. Okay, the OTP is there. Eight double four one. Okay, so again it is showing me that your application is in the draft stage. I went to draft. See, it is again showing me tick tick tick. This we have already done, and we were on the principal place of business. Since my that sheet was not saved, I have to type it back again. So I'm typing on my own, Ranjita. I'm just writing whatever I remember out of the address you have told me. Prestige Kesa Bella, then Basapura, Bangalore. It is again Bangalore. 560100. This. I'm writing consent. I'm typing consent letter. Okay, now it has taken. So once I go ahead with the consent letter or the rent agreement, I have pasted it here. Then it will ask me now, give me the proof of place of business. Say electricity bill, legal ownership document, property tax receipt. If you have any of them, you can paste it. So like, let's suppose I'm again saying I'm pasting consent letter. I'm going to paste the same thing again. Okay. The portal is taking time. Okay. So both are done. And I'm saying I am a supplier of service, right? Now, the thing we talked about additional place of business. In Bangalore only, if Ranjita is operating from one more place. So she has this registered office address and she has opened a branch office in one more place in Bangalore. And I don't want a separate registration for that particular place because my business is same. I don't want to have two GST registrations and I don't have any reason to take that. So what I'll do, I'll add additional place of business here. Save and continue. Now it will ask me how many additional place of business you want to add in this registration. I'm saying one. I want to add one. So I'll do it. But if this branch of Ranjita is not in Bangalore, let's suppose it's in Coorg. I want to know the answer from you people. If it is in Coorg, do I need a separate registration or will I add that address into additional place of business? Okay, I want more answers. I want to see people are awake or not. Okay. Sagar ji is saying separate registration. Sushma ji is also saying separate registration. Subhash ji is also saying the same. Okay. So still there is a confusion, right? People don't get confused. Now, Coorg, I believe it's a part of Karnataka only, right? We are in Karnataka only. It's not a change of state. So law does not say to me that it is mandatory for you to go ahead with a separate registration. I don't need it. I am in the business of rendering of services of a chartered accountant only. It's not a change in entire vertical. And even if it is a change in vertical, it's my decision. I want to take or not. It's in the same state only. I'll take an additional place registration. Right? I think the people who have said that we'll take a separate registration, get my point that we don't need a separate registration in this particular field. So I'm adding here one additional place I wanted, and I'm saying add new. Okay, sorry Sushma ji, if you have heard it as Puri, I talked about Coorg. Coorg is a place near to Bangalore. So we'll talk about details of additional places of business. Okay. So I am taking मैं उसी address में जो मुझे रंजीता ने दिया है, I am making a minute changes in that address only. So I am typing 564 Prestige Parlo, then Basapura, and changing the uh, locality as Coorg. अर्षद जी कह रहे हैं कि अगर स्टेट अलग होगा तो क्या सेपरेट रजिस्ट्रेशन चाहिए? हाँ अर्षद जी, आपको सेपरेट रजिस्ट्रेशन चाहिए अगर आपका स्टेट अलग है, क्योंकि कोड अलग हो जाता है. आप जीएसटी में स्टेट वाइज रजिस्ट्रेशन चलते हैं हमारे. ओके, सो डिस्ट्रिक्ट कूर्ग कोई डिस्ट्रिक्ट होता है क्या? नॉट अवेयर अबाउट द डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स इन कर्नाटका. So I'm liking this Chikmagaluru. I'm writing this Chikmagaluru. Okay, so any pin code, portal is not going to verify right now. Latitude, longitude, I don't know. You have to write a separate email address and a mobile number for the new registration. Branjita, what was the email address for your partner? I'll write that. Dinesh Mallan, I believe. Dinesh Mallan @gmail.com. And I'm just typing a mobile number. So again, it says that you need to give me a proof regarding the kind of possession it is. I'm saying, okay, consent letter. I'm attaching the same document. So kind of place in case of CAs, it's same, it's supplier of services only. But let's suppose it's a factory, तो एक जगह factory हो सकती है, एक जगह मेरा warehouse हो सकता है, एक जगह sales office हो सकता है, जहां मैं सिर्फ sales office मैंने अपना बना रखा है. Okay. Then I'm saying supplier of service, save and continue. So my additional place of business is added here. Now Milanji is asking, how and when GST department verify your uploaded docs? So Milanji, once you file an application to do the submission, your entire application along with all the attachments that you have attached here goes to them. They verify it. Nowadays, earlier when the GST registration was being done, it was done without physical verification. But now it's the 70% of the cases where they send a person to do the physical verification, And it is not mandatory that the physical verification will happen before allotment of GST-IN. Even after allotment of GST-IN, your physical verification can happen. The inspector can come and check whether the place of business that you have mentioned, you are working over there or not. So that is why I had said it is mandatory to get your GST-IN displayed at the place of address what you have mentioned. If it will not happen, I'm telling you from my personal experience, they cancel your GST number. You still have the right to do it. Okay. So once done this, I'll say continue. Now the next thing, what the GST portal asked me is that you have to give the kind of goods and services you are dealing into. So let's come back to this. You will see. So it is asking me the goods and services. For goods, what do you have? What is that particular term called? That is called HSN. And for services, it is SAC codes. HSN and SSC codes are different. So do make sure while typing it for the goods, it has to be HSN, and for services, it has to be SSC codes. You have proper books on that talking about the classification of the goods, HSN code and the SSC codes. You have online services as well where you can get what kind of goods and services you are dealing into. The next important thing is that the portal nowhere says that you need to mention the HSN code of all the goods you are dealing into. For all the services you are rendering, it says that please specify 5 top commodities. Any 5 top commodities you are dealing into, because practically, let's suppose I'm running a shop of stationery items. So I have more than 1,000 or 2,000 items which I'm selling. Will it be practically possible for me to mention all the HSN codes here? No. So you will take from your clients, give us the kind of goods you are dealing and the HSN code and the SSC code you are into. And try to get these codes from your clients only, because this is a very debatable area. Depending upon a minute change in the component or the kind of built of the item, the HSN code changes. So take these codes from your client only. So once you start typing, the system will help you. What kind of HSN code you want to render you only. Okay. So I just type 631091010. It's giving me 631K options. It is showing me. Okay. Like for services, then it is 98. It's not showing. Not even for this. So let's suppose I'm just taking this one. Add ho gaya. If I'll type, I have just, okay, I've added 2. Pranavi, it's difficult for me right now to tell you about the polished diamonds. HSN for polished diamonds, write a query to me, then I can help you in that. Okay. Arshad ji is asking if required for us HSN and SSC codes. Arshad ji, I'm telling you, there are books, reading materials, which tell you about what HSN codes and SSC codes are applicable, and even the Google can help you in that. But I always prefer you take the HSN and the SSC codes from the clients only. Don't search them for on your own, because it's a debatable area. So I'm doing save and continue. Then if there is any state specific information like professional tax employee code, registration certificate, excise license, if you have, then you need to mention this in this registration. We don't have these informations as a chartered accountant, so I am skipping it. Save and continue. The last thing it says is that you have to opt for Aadhaar authentication of promoter, partner, or the primary authorized signatory added by you. So what happens is that once you say yes, Aadhaar authentication, your process of registration is fastened up. So you generally get the registration in 7 working days, what the department says. 7 working days. If you say no for Aadhaar authentication, then your registration will take 30 days. The number of days is increased. When I say 30 days or 7 days, it's the working days. And if you say yes, what will happen is that once you will submit your application for the registration, then in my system, it is showing Ranjita ko Aadhaar authentication ka mail jayega. So she will receive a mail for Aadhaar authentication. On her mail, she has to verify by clicking on a link and the Aadhaar authentication will be done. Okay. Then I do save and continue. So it is giving me a warning that you have opted yes. Please make sure that Aadhaar authentication to the link provided on the mobiles emails of partners is correct and they are completed and the registration process will be completed. I'm saying okay. And this is the very last step. Also, you will get here the ratio, the percentage. How much percentage of the total data you have completed. It is saying 100%. So I have filled this form completely. There is nothing left in this form from my side because all the attachments are there, all the information has been fed. Till the time it is not 100%, you cannot upload the information. Okay, now Ajit is asking me a question that if we start a new service and use the existing GST number, then can we add new SSC code in the existing GST number? Of course, Ajit, this is an amendment in the GST registration you want to do, but you need to take a rational decision on that. What the law talks about the SSC codes and the HSN codes. Give me any top 5 commodities you are dealing into. So if that new service or new item is not falling within the scope of the top 5, then you can skip that. The law nowhere says that you cannot deal into an item which is not mentioned while getting your GST registration done. So you have to take a practical decision. Do you want to actually go for the registration or not? So now Sayali is saying, if in the case of individual proprietor registration is cancelled, can we apply for new registration again on the same PAN number? Sayali, it depends upon why your registration got cancelled. Was it a clear case? You yourself went for surrender and completed all the documents and all the liabilities have been paid and there is no negative mark on your PAN number, you can obviously apply for the new registration. But if your registration was cancelled suo moto by the government because of non-filing of return or any other default that you have done, you won't ever get a new registration because there is already a red flag on your PAN number. Okay. So last step I'm not going to complete because if I'll complete, it will go ahead with the registration. It says, I affirm whatever I have declared is correct. Authorized signatory is Ranjita, so automatically her name is coming. You need to mention the place and then you say submit with DSC. So if I mention the place, then it will highlight it. So since she is from Bangalore, I'm mentioning Bangalore. Then it will give you an option. Do you want to submit it with DSC or you want to submit with EVC? EVC is electronic verification code. So if Ranjita does not have a digital signature, I can say submit with EVC. The number that we have mentioned for Ranjita, she will receive an OTP there and we can finalize it. Okay. DSC is mandatory in the case of companies and LLPs. Without DSC, you cannot do anything for these two organizations. But for proprietorship, partnership, it can be done with EBC. Sagar, don't worry. He's asking that how can we cancel registration by our own self? This is the next topic which we are going to do. I hope tomorrow we are going to do this cancellation only because it's a part of my registration process. Okay. So if you will see this registration block currently for us, it is saying new registration, track your application status and application for filing clarification. Okay. Just breaking in between. Parth ji, you have asked this question. I have seen you have asked nil rated, zero rated and exempted sales. I'll give this clarification once we will go to the GSTR 3B filing. Over there, we get the separate columns for everything and it will be completed over there. So don't you worry, it won't be missed, your question. Nandini ji is asking, what is DSC? Nandini ji, DSC is Digital Signature Certificate. So it's a kind of your signatures only, which are in digital form, provided you in a token. So it's not the physical signing, just you attach that digital token to your systems and you can sign everywhere. So most of the portals are working on digital signatures only right now. Alaguji is asking, could you please explain on 40 lakhs turnover? I'll do that, Alaguji. Just give me a minute. I'll help you in that. So on this portal, currently you have only these options available. If any clarification is there, the department comes back with a notice seeking for further clarification. You will file the clarifications here. Okay. So this is how we go ahead with a registration. Done? Okay. So I'm not saving it. If I do back, it will go back. I'm just going back on the dashboard. It is showing me that what is the status. Okay. Okay. Alkuji, your question still I'm going to take. There is another question from Ganesh. He is asking, I need to change from manufacturing activity to service. Is it possible with the same GST number? Yes, of course. You can do that, Ganeshji. It's just that what you are going to change, principal place of business, you must have mentioned you are carrying out manufacturing activity there. You will mention a service activity and accordingly you will add SSC codes. This will do tomorrow amendments. We are going to do the amendments of the core and the non-core field. Then Sayali is asking what are the type of DSC class 2 and class 3. Sayali, I think from, I don't exactly remember the date. Now the class 2 have been finished. There is no class 2 digital signatures. It's only class 3 digital signatures which work now. So there is no bifurcation now for us. Then Rakesh is asking that in future, in case we wish to change authorized signatory, good deals, how we can edit. We'll do that, Rakesh, tomorrow. Tomorrow's class is a forward of the registration process, which includes amendments in core and non-core fields, cancellations, how to revoke a cancellation. We are going to do that tomorrow only. Nandini Srivasan is saying, what is a normal registration? Normal means, Nandini, like you are not a casual, you are not an RRI, you are not an IST service, you are not an UNO. So the leftover, the major chunk, the normal registration when your taxable turnover exceeds the limit of 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs or 40 lakhs depending upon the case. That is a normal registration. Might be I was wrong. I generally talk like this. Normal registration you need. Other than there is voluntary registration. If your turnover is not above that, you can go for the voluntary registration as well. Okay. So Algu has asked me one question, that 40 lakhs wala thing. Let's go to the PPT. PPT will also make it clear. So over there it is written also. Just give me a minute. We'll read it from there. Big one PPT. Okay, this is the one. So Alugi can see that. So this notification came on 1st April 2019, which says that who is engaged in the business of supply of goods only, that is you are doing only supply of goods and your aggregate turnover in the financial year does not exceed 40 lakhs, then you can take a registration आफ्टर 40 lakhs turnover, not 20 lakhs turnover, provided आप interstate कोई interstate supply नहीं करेंगे, because for interstate supply that is a mandatory requirement to get yourself registered. There is no rupee limit. And secondly, you have to be exclusively engaged in the supply of goods and services. Except, now there is a condition, except who are required to take compulsory registration. We have already discussed the compulsory registration thing. That one, your ISD, if you are under reverse charge mechanism, you are dealing into interstate supply, casual dealer, NRI, those are the mandatory registration. Unke alawa, you can take the 40 lakh limits. Then it is saying a person who is engaged in making supply of the following goods. These goods people cannot take the limit of 40 lakhs. Ice cream, other edible ice, whether or not containing cocoa, pan masala, tobacco, and manufactured tobacco substitutes. Then it says person engaged in intra-state supplies in the state of this. इन states को अभी भी 10 लाख वाली लिमिट है, यहाँ पे वो 40 लाख वाली लिमिट नहीं है. And then person exercising option for voluntary registration. So if you are going for voluntary registration and you want to continue that, this condition won't apply to you. Okay, so that is the 40 lakhs limit. Pranavi, why you are still confused with the 20 lakhs registration? What you can do is that write me a proper question, your confusion on the self-learning portal, I'll answer that. I'll try my level best to clarify this thing because this is a very basic thing in GST, the 20 lakhs registration. I think you are getting confused in the voluntary thing and the mandatory thing. Just let me take it again. So my turnover exceeds 20 lakhs. I have to get GST registration mandatorily. It is mandatory. I cannot skip it. If you will skip it, you will face notices from the department that why you are not registered. और डिपार्टमेंट आपको नोटिस कैसे भेजेगा प्रणवी? आपके 26 AS में आपकी पूरी इनकम की डिक्लेरेशन आती है, आपने कितना अर्न किया. If it is more than 20 lakhs, direct notice. They won't ask you a single question, direct notice. And if you people must have noticed, 26 AS में अब TDS की information के साथ what has started coming? GST information. All your GST 3B information is coming in the 26 AS. So they are going to make a comparison, the difference, reconciliations. So if your turnover is more than 20 lakhs, mandatory. If your turnover is less than 20 lakhs, then it's up to you, your wish. It's your wish to get registered. So that is why we call that registration as voluntary registration. I hope, Pranavi, I am clear. I don't want any one of the student in this batch to get confused about these basics. Whatever we are covering, have the clarity. Then you will enjoy the next sessions. Sayali is asking what basic mistakes we should avoid. See, Sayali, what happens is that while making the partnership deed or the registration office address, sometimes we miss ground floor, first floor. The utility bills does not contain the same address or the name of the person. Do make sure all these information are in sync. Everything should be in a sync. There should be no variations in that. So please take all the supporting documents from your customer before applying for the registration or even before making the basic documents like partnership deed or the company incorporation or anything. So it's like a chain dependent upon each other. So Satyan is saying that 40 lakhs limit is only applicable to supply of goods. Yes, Satyan, you are correct. 40 lakhs is for supply of goods, not for services. So for me, I'm a chartered accountant and I am in the business of rendering of services. So for me, it's 20 lakhs limit, not the 40 lakhs limit. Okay. I hope it's clear. So we have covered the GST registration right now, right? We are done with it, the normal taxable registration. हमने उसमें कैजुअल और एनआरआई का भी थोड़ा सा देख लिया था क्या होता है, कोई और स्पेसिफिक रजिस्ट्रेशन का कोई अलग फॉर्म नहीं होता है, इट्स द सेम. So I have received few questions today regarding the GST practitioner. We will be covering that, don't you worry, but in next week, not this week. This week we are targeting on the registration process. Okay, and if anyone has an urgent query, he or she can write it on the self-learning portal. Okay, so this is how where we stop for today. Tomorrow we are going to proceed ahead in this PPT only. I think we are done till 50 or 60 something today. Yes, so we are done till 50 page of the PPT, still 60 to more go ahead for tomorrow. Okay, so good to go ahead. I hope you all enjoyed today's session and everything was clear to you. Still, anything missed, anything you want more clarity, write on the self-learning portal. Tomorrow morning we'll take the class. Hopefully next after next class 24 or 48 hours you will get all the data on your portal. You can see the recordings again, you will get all the reading materials, study material, everything with you in hand, and then all your queries posted on the portal. I'll be happy to answer all of your queries. Yes, Sagar, you will get the recordings, everything, don't you worry. I'll even talk to the tax guru people to resend that self-learning portal email to every one of you. Okay, so that's for today. Bye bye.